Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rewind, episode number 47 for Tuesday, June 2nd, 2026. My name is Marty Sleeve, and I'm joined by Darren Mooney, Nick Calandra, JM8, and producer Eric. We have a star-studded show because Jack is out with scheduled diarrhea, pre-planned diarrhea maintenance. He couldn't be here today, but JM8 and Nick were kind enough to fill in because all four of us have seen today's big movie, The Mandalorian and Grogu, which we will be going to into in-depth, full spoilers, even though I truly believe this is an unspoilable movie because nothing happens.
Yep.
Yeah. Then we'll be touching on the Backrooms as kind of the actual biggest box office story of the weekend, talking a little bit about that. Darren and I saw it, and then kind of just how it feels like over the past few weeks there's been this rising shift in theatrical box office between Obsession and Backrooms and Star Wars underperforming, and if this is kind of a blip on the radar or if this is a genuine sign of things to come, or a little bit of both. But yeah, and we also, this is famous last words. This is going to be a shorter episode. We have a hard at 2 hours. This is going to be 2 hours because we're going to be back 2 hours
Shorter
after
episode,
that.
2 hours.
4 p.m. said, I know how we say if an episode of Firelight goes 2 hours, I'm like, this is insane.
We've had windbreakers. We've had windbreakers that have lasted like an hour.
Yeah, he's got to get lunch. That's the problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, a little bit of a shorter episode because at 4 p.m. Central, we'll be back doing the PlayStation State of Play watch along. So tune in for that. But let's just jump right in. Mando and Grogu. We'll do Darren last because Darren made an entire video on it and might have the most opinions. Jay, what did you think of the Mandalorian?
Oh shit, I have a lot of opinions.
Sorry. Well, I guess what is your tweet length opinion?
Oh, my tweet length opinion is the Mandalorian and Grogu might be the most aggressively uninteresting movie I've ever seen.
Beautiful.
It feels like it was intentional. They intentionally cut out things that if they found something that was interesting, they were like, let's remove that. Yeah. It's grim.
Bring in the sandpaper and just go to work on it. Yeah.
Let's smooth off any rough edges this might have. Nick, you're a big Star Wars fan. I feel like you've liked certain pieces of the Star Wars extended universe that we've been a little cooler on. What did you think of the Mandalorian and Grogu?
I am not my father. I am my own man.
My father's Jabba the Hutt.
Is that what you learned from? I was gonna say his name. I don't know what Jeremy Allen White's name.
No, I know his name. It's Nepo the Hutt.
Rota the Hutt.
His name is Nepo the Hutt.
Nepo.
Come on, guys.
When he opened his mouth and just normal English language came out, I said, what the fuck am I watching right now?
And he kind of sounded like it was like, well, this is the accent I have for the Springsteen movie, and I can't give it up for this Star Wars thing, so let's just keep rolling with it.
Well, you know the story about, this will be of no surprise to anybody, but Jeremy Allen White has talked about this, where he got the role like 4 years ago, and he came in, and it was a small role, and he read like 5 lines, and then he left. And then he kept getting calls to come back and record more lines, and eventually, like when he saw the trailers, he was like, wait, am I the third lead of this movie? Which is a hell of a way to discover you're the third lead of a movie.
Mm-hmm. It feels like by the end of it, he was just delivering his lines in his phone in like a little note.
His very last scene as Rhoda, he's like, everything is done, and he literally just looks behind him and then just starts walking away.
Or sliding away, whatever he does, shimmying away.
Slithers away.
Slithering away. Darren, people might have seen your backdrop from last week on the Mandalorian and Grogu. What did you think of the movie, Darren?
I thought it was very bad. It's like the tweet length review there. I think Jay's entirely correct. This feels like a movie that was like focus group tested to provoke no reaction whatsoever. It is very clearly a product of like a desire to get Star Wars back in theaters. We've talked about this before. The idea of like streaming being a black hole of money. And Disney realizing that sending blockbuster level content direct to streaming, where it can earn no financial return whatsoever, and where it will inevitably become associated in the minds of consumers with direct to TV movies, is not a viable strategy. So the hard pivot away from that of like pulling back, and this very famously is a case where according to Jon Favreau, they were working on the 4th season of The Mandalorian. They had scripts all written. Disney came in and said, "You're not doing a TV show. How do you feel about doing a movie?" Favreau allegedly swept the scripts off the table and started again from page 1. I don't know how much I believe that, having seen the movie.
I don't believe that whatsoever.
It does feel like 4 episodes of TV in a trench coat sneaking into a movie theater. But yeah, it is just so bland, so inoffensive, and it's like it is the clear result of like a corporate imperative to have 2 hours and 20 minutes of Star Wars delivered in theaters for May 2026, which is just insane.
They've had 6 years to figure, like, it is crazy to me what has happened to theatrical Star Wars, or to Star Wars in general, in the past 11 years. Like that I distinctly remember that photo being released, of the black and white photo of the cast read of The Force Awakens. And it's all the cast members, it's J.J. Abrams, it's the old cast, it's the new cast, and I'm like, holy shit. Like, this is it. Like, this is going to be like the center of culture for like the rest of my adult life. And how quickly that was squandered with there were blips of greatness. I don't even want to say blips, because like Last Jedi, Andor, like, just, moments of the other series, genuine great stuff. But to have it sink this low into such a forgettable, like, this is Captain America Brave New World. This is Red Hulk without a Red Hulk. It is that forgettable of a movie to me. Like, this is going in and out of my brain. I will not remember the plot beats of this movie in a month.
This movie doesn't have a plot.
I thought, yeah, it doesn't. Like, that's the first thing I texted Marty when I got out of it. I was like, there was no story in this at all. There's nothing. Like, saving Rhoda, was that it? Was that the plot? Because it wasn't.
I guess, yeah.
Well, I had this same thought, and I wrote down every instance where I thought the plot was gonna start, and in it, they instantaneously solve the thing. Yeah. So I have them here, if you guys will indulge me for 1 second. So the first one, which is, okay, so he's trying to capture one of the Imperial officers, and he encounters free AT-ATs. Yeah, Ice Planet, free AT-ATs. Oh, interesting. How is he going to get past these free AT-ATs by himself? That's insane. He just blows them up, right? He blows them all up. Okay, well, that's over. So how is he going to find the hot child? Right, that's the plot. How's he going to find him? He immediately asks someone. They tell him exactly where he is, and there's a poster of his face.
He asks Martin Scorsese, and Martin Scorsese tells.
That's Martin Scorsese.
That's Martin Scorsese. Yeah, as the dude in the little food stall. Yeah.
He then gets
the chef, like Jon Favreau. But sorry.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. He gets captured, and Grogu is captured in a little cage. And I was like, right, here's an interesting thing. How is he going to escape this and get Grogu, right? It's going to be, the angry parent trying to get back the child. That's going to be fun. They immediately win, and all the bad guys run away, and they leave Grogu in the cage. And I'm like, okay, well, that's solved. What's it? How are they? The next one, I was like, all right, this is the actual plot. How are they going to get into the bad guy's mansion? Right? How are they going to get? He literally teleports inside. They don't show any of him trying to get inside the mansion. He teleports in to the room. They play that cringe stinger, which I really like the music by Ludwig. It's really fantastic. But that woo, that kind of spaghetti western. When that stinger came in, it was like a mark of cringe for me, because they're trying to make the Mandalorian really badass, and he ain't. But then, he gets, I won't go through the rest, but everything else is just, how is Grogu going to cure Mando of this mysterious snake poison? Well, he finds a random dude, and someone else comes to tell him the plot, and then he gives him the cure. And it's like, okay, well, every time something is introduced, they immediately overcome it. And it was about an hour and a half in, I was like, where's the plot? Where's the thing? And it never comes. It's crazy.
I did like that wise old swamp man sitting on his rocking chair. I liked him.
Eating his fish? Yeah, he's a great guy.
Think about that. To Jay's point. Sorry, Nick.
I was just going to say, I felt like the one plot they could have gone with that would have said something was Grogu having to grow up and not have Mando around. Like, they brought that plot point up a couple times, but they never do anything with it. Nothing.
The guy in the rocking chair quite literally says, there comes a time when everybody's got to say goodbye. And you're like, oh, are they going to kill Mando? Because obviously this is a TV show. You're transitioning from a TV show into a movie. When you're moving a TV show into a movie, there's the Ryan Coogler argument about how like a TV show is about the everyday life of your characters, and the movie is about like the most important day in the lives of your characters. So the idea is, you've watched The Mandalorian, you've got a sense of like the regular day from The Mandalorian. Something has to happen in the movie. It doesn't have to be another Death Star. I'm okay. I don't need another Death Star, but it has to be like something important. Like he finds Grogu's biological parents, or he falls in love, or Grogu says a word, or the Mandalorian dies. And I love that the movie pushes so hard in the direction of everybody's got to say goodbye as Grogu like sits over his dying father. And to Jay's point, the movie is immediately like, nah, that's crap. We're back to start.
Disney came in and said,
now let's go kill the Huts. How do we get inside their temple? Let's just fly a ship into it.
Yeah, that is insane. The order of the airstrike thing. I'm like, are we sure this place is like completely empty?
But like ordering the airstrike after the movie has shown you that there are adorable innocent Hutt children. The first time that he walks in, he looks through these rooms and sees like Hutt mothers playing with Hutt babies. So Jon Favreau wants you to know that there are Hutt babies in this temple when he's like kills the two Hutts and is like, do I call off the airstrike? No, continue the airstrike.
Slam this building.
Yeah.
Fuck these guys.
What's the to not be 100% negative? I did like Ludwig Göransson's score. I mean, I always do. Like, probably one of the best, incredible modern composers. I liked how different a lot of it sounded. There was that weird. It almost reminded me of in Andor when they go to the one planet. It has that like weird kind of like techno beat to it, and you're like, oh, this is
Namos.
Yeah. Like this isn't something I'm used to in Star Wars. So
the sets were incredible. I do think a lot of the environment, like this is why it upsets me. You can tell that in the sound design, the environments, the costumes, like a lot of love went into producing this thing. It was just, I think, poorly planned and written, like because nothing fucking happens. But a lot of it, I was like, oh, that's a really interesting character. Or okay, so we were kind of memeing on Nepo the Hutt, wherever he's called. But as soon as he was introduced, I was like, are they going to try and show a Hutt moving semi-quickly? Like, are they going to try and do that? And I was like, this is going to be grim. I'm going to hate this. But then when you actually got to see him fight and how he, like, tactically rolls around and, like, lands on people, I'm like, this is how a Hutt would fight. Like, this is really cool. And things like that were sprinkled in. But not enough. It wasn't enough glue to make the rest of it come together.
The albino snake was kind of cool, like the
yes,
fake, like their version,
the reveal,
like their own aquatic rancor or whatever.
That's very cool.
I think Star Wars always has like good visuals. I think it's just, I don't know, like there's so much of Star Wars now. You expect more than that. I came out of this movie. I came out of this movie thinking, man, I wish I'd rather be watching Rise of Skywalker again than this.
Wow.
Okay, we'll put a pin in that in a moment.
I have a reason.
This Rise of Skywalker does at least have authorial intent. That authorial intent is erasing what happened in the previous movie, but at least it's authorial intent.
It's doing something, yeah.
Yeah, to get back to the circle of things that we like about this movie, it's the Jon Favreau playing with puppets. It's the 59-year-old man who has like fallen in love with like physical, like Jim Henson style puppets. Like, I know it's sheer pandering. I know Babu Frick is the one part of Rise of Skywalker that worked, and so it's the one part of Rise of Skywalker that's sticking around. But like when the Babu Fricks are walking through the swamp with little baby Yoda, and you're in pure like Dark Crystal territory, I'm kind of like, this is at least gesturing towards being interesting.
That should have been the movie.
Yes,
right?
That's exactly it.
That's the thing, is that would have been the standout episode of season 4 of The Mandalorian, because it would have been a largely silent episode that is all puppets, and you'd have been like, oh, this is actually like really cool. This is like a thing I could show people who don't watch the series and just be like, well, just watch this. This is like a cute little fairy tale that looks really cool. But it's instead of just 6-minute scene inside of a 2 hour and 15-minute bore.
The Mandalorian for me just got boring the second they introduced Grogu into it. Like I was completely invested in the show when it was about retaking their home world.
That was the first episode.
I was about to say that was the end of the first episode.
That was
Nick was
literally
all
the
in
pilot.
for like 38 episodes, of 38 minutes of like Mandalorian.
Okay, well, I'm not saying like I wasn't out of the show completely. Like he had Grogu even when he was going back to take over Mandalore and all that, and try to fight for Mandalore. Like that plot line that carried over from the animated shows was genuinely investing in that, in Grogu, cool, whatever. But then once the entire Mando thing became about Grogu, and I think the episode it all fell apart as Luke Skywalker coming in. Everything fell apart after that because then they come right back and then they give Grogu back. And
but in
just
2
like at the
episodes
end
of
of this
Boba
movie,
Fett.
Yeah.
Like imagine watching The Mandalorian and going like, you get to the end of season 2 of The Mandalorian, you're like, oh my god, they took his child away. I can't wait to jump into The Mandalorian season 3 to see how he gets him back. And season 3 just begins with the two of them riding around space together, and you're like, wait, what? What happened?
They end this movie in the same exact way.
Yeah.
Back in space together. There's no
But that's
forward momentum.
Nick, we
for
want
this.
season 4. John Favreau wants season 4 of The Mandalorian.
There's no,
It's nice
there's
to
no
want
great.
things, Jon Favreau.
There's one thing that I did really appreciate this. Not a single lightsaber. That was that was good, and I appreciate that. Like as much as the what they call the puppets, my heart, the Babo
Zelens or whatever they are, and
they were my favorite thing about the entire movie. The big pipe, huh? Like I was genuinely laughing in the theater. Like great line. Really loved all of that stuff. But there wasn't as much of like, Luke Skywalker didn't show up. You'd expect in a big spectacle movie when they're trying to do something, like have conflict and do stuff, maybe, a named Sith character or a Jedi or something like that might show. Ahsoka, right? She's been tied to Mando.
Thrawn. You're waiting for Thrawn to roll in the third
Thrawn,
like,
but they're a little bit more subdued on that, and I can respect that if there was like very similar to Andor, right? Like I can respect that restraint, but as long as you're trying to say something while restraining, this feels like they're in their straitjacket, but they're just mumbling rather than saying anything.
This is the paradox of it for me, where like it is very clearly like the studio mandate is make a movie that people can go see even if they've given up on our streaming shows, because like the statistics are, and like I don't want to turn this into a Star Wars is dead discussion. It's a streaming media issue. It's not a Star Wars issue. The issue is that like streaming figures are down across the board. Nobody's watching anything on streaming. The last couple of Star Wars shows haven't generally charted on Nielsen. The last couple of Marvel shows have struggled to chart on Nielsen, for example. It's just like a decline of the general industry. But the imperative here was to make like a Star Wars movie you could go to if you have not seen The Mandalorian. And on the one hand, to Jay's point, they do that, where it's like, this drops all of the stuff that Filoni and Favreau have been building towards. There's no Bo-Katan in there. There's no Manda lore in there, if you will. But there's no discussion of Mandalorian culture or anything like that. The weaponer isn't there. None of the other characters from the show appear here as well, right? But with all that taken out, the movie is also like, hey, you remember Rota the Hutt from the 4-episode premiere of The Clone Wars that was released theatrically back in 2008. I'm like, no, I don't. It's like, you remember Embo, the bounty hunter, who appeared in multiple episodes of Dave Filoni's The Clone Wars. I'm like, no, I don't. It's like, you remember Janu Coyne, who appeared in a single scene of the penultimate episode of The Mandalorian. He was standing between Xander Berkeley and Brian Gleason. I'm like, no, I don't at all. And it's like, well, you remember Dave Filoni has his cowboy hat on at the bar.
He's got his hat on, yeah.
Yeah.
Bastard.
And it's like, no. And it's like, it's so strange that the movie is clearly like, clean slate, no lore, no backstory, no baggage coming in. But also, can we sneak a whole bunch of this stuff in?
But like general consumers don't assume that though, right? They don't go... Like, there's no one I've met who hasn't already watched these, who looks at Mandalorian and Grogu and goes, oh, this is like a standalone thing that I can watch by itself. Because if you ask anyone who knows Star Wars, they're like, oh, this is a movie of a show that has 3 seasons, right? Like, and they go, oh, well, I can't watch that because I need to watch the show and I'm not paying Disney $10 a month to go watch 3 seasons of a show. So I'm not going to do that. So, like, it seems like such a misstep to be like, let's get the general Star Wars audience back in theaters, but attach it to a show that has 3 seasons. Like I would have, one of the things I really liked, apart from the puppets, was whatever, I didn't know he was a named character, that the bounty hunter that captures Mando.
Yes, with the hat,
like,
yes.
He's very cool, and as soon as they cut to that first-person perspective of him sprinting towards the house at like an ungodly speed, I was like, "Holy shit! This guy can move." And I would like a movie that was just like him, like something about him being like an anti-hero or something completely new that wasn't attached to just this bloated 3-season mess. Because maybe that might get more people in, or do they think, well, if it's not tied to like a character that people like, people aren't going to go see it? Do you know what I mean?
I just think the answer is they don't know, and that's what's the Star Wars is in a state of flux because it truly feels like there's no direction. And granted, there's been a lot of changes at the top of Lucas and at the top of Disney, but the fact that how many Star Wars movies have been announced and canceled?
Yeah.
In this modern era, the Rogue Squadron movie,
Yeah.
Kevin Feige's movie, Benioff and Weiss's trilogy, Ryan Johnson's trilogy, Taika Waititi's movie,
The Lindelof movie,
the Lindelof movie, the Donald
which
Glover
was secretly
Lando
Episode
movie.
X, the
Yeah,
Rey movie, which
yeah.
is seemingly still happening. Yeah.
Yeah, if maybe. But the fact that all of those things happened, all of those movies got canceled, and this was the thing they landed on. And granted, this is the perfect example of Darren. You talked about it with The Flash. It just seems like everyone here is a good company man who follows orders, gets the movie done on time, and puts it out. And at this time, that's not what Star Wars is, right? It's not what Star Wars should be.
Like you dropped this in
so
the chat.
funny, I was just gonna say it's so funny like watching like what you just said, Marty, because it's like they don't pay attention to what people are responding to positively online. You hear anything about the Old Republic, and people are like, yes, I want movie. I want something from that era. They want that trailer from the Quantic Dream game. Like there was a huge reaction around that of like how cool it looked. It's like give us that, and then
Give us a Cal Kestis, like Star Wars Jedi.
They literally
Jedi
just
Survivor
said we're
movie.
going to see Cal Kestis in live action at some point. But it's just every time they want to do something new with Star Wars, like even this Rogue Squadron movie or what is it called?
It got canceled.
Starfighter.
Starfighter.
Yeah,
Starfighter.
with Ryan
Starfighter.
Gosling and Sean Levy.
It's going back. It's going back again to prequel
The original
territory.
trilogy.
Yeah, the original trilogy. It's like let it
No,
go.
it's 5 years after Rise of Skywalker.
Oh no.
Oh, it's okay. All right.
Yeah, so it's going to be the furthest in the.
But he'll still be driving an X-wing. You can guarantee he will still be
gotta
flying.
be
an
Yeah, and he'll be delivering the
Yeah,
kid
yeah.
to Rey's Jedi Temple, and that's going to
Yeah.
start the next.
But like this is the
Bullshit.
thing where you mentioned it there a moment ago. And you also dropped in the chat after you saw it, like the moment of existential despair of Marty seeing this movie, where he's like, "This is the one you guys went with. You had to get a Star Wars movie in theaters, and this was the one you chose." But it's like, this is the 49th anniversary of Star Wars. And to Jay's point, this is a TV show of Star Wars. Next year, you do like, I am not a Deadpool and Wolverine fan. I do not care for Sean Levy as a director. I think the Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie is incredible. I think like that is his auteurist statement. I think like if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But generally speaking, not a huge fan of Sean Levy. But it's like next year you have a Starfighter movie starring Ryan Gosling, who may not be a bona fides movie star, but is close enough and has an Oscar nomination and people generally like. And he is in a movie that is being directed by a guy that personally I do not really care for as a director, but he made Deadpool and Wolverine, which grossed $1.3 billion recently. And that is coming out for the 50th anniversary of Star Wars as a title. You do not need to put your TV movie in theaters on the 49th anniversary of Star Wars. That is not, that is an unforced error in every sense of that word.
Cynically, I think a lot of it is because out of all of the shows that have been released on streaming for Disney within Star Wars, because like how many TV shows have been released? We got Boba Fett, Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, Andor, and
Skeleton Crew. Don't forget
Skeleton Crew, Maul animated series, a couple animated
Acolytes.
series.
Yeah,
It's
the
probably been about
Acolyte.
10.
There's been about 10. Okay, so in the 10, none of them have received the amount of marketing hype that is Baby Yoda, Grogu.
Yeah,
like that has sold a lot of merchandise to the point where I was coming. I think I've said this before. I was coming back from GDC one year, and the woman in front of me had a Baby Yoda, Grogu, in a baby carrier on her chest, and was feeding it a bottle
Oh yeah, you can.
Like-
Yeah.
It was insane. And then somebody went, "What is that?" And they went, "It's Baby Yoda." And my nerd brain went, "How can you be this deep that you're feeding this Baby Yoda and not know it's called Grogu?" And then I receded back into my chair and went, "Grow
I mean,
up."
to be fair, they didn't call it Grogu for a while, right? Like
Yeah.
Grogu.
No,
they
at
got
this
a
point
name
they
second
knew it was Grogu if
Yeah.
you had it.
Like that's how do we reckon this would have made somewhere in the region of 10 to 15 more $1 million opening weekend if it had just been called the Baby Yoda movie? Like, because
Or
my
if
mom
it was
doesn't-
just yeah, like I can't remember if it was Dave Filoni or Jon Favreau who said, "Oh, we were contemplating having like a flash forward of Baby or Grogu as an adult fighting like as a Jedi," and I'm like. Somebody posted on Twitter and was like, "Oh, it's really interesting that they contemplated making a better movie. Like, just do that."
Or have Grogu even say it. Like, this is the thing where nothing happens in this movie. Have Grogu say a word. Have Grogu like articulate something, and the movie would feel like it had accomplished something. It feel like it was worth the big screen. Having Grogu say "Dad, you are" is like immediately that's $10 million more.
He got his driver's permit at the end. That's accomplishment. That's a big deal in a lot of teenagers' lives. If Grogu's supposed to be a
I'm about to
teenager,
say-
I don't think we should be
Yeah,
calling
how
him
old
Grogu.
is Grogu, right?
But
50
given
he's
Grogu's
50
not
years old.
articulating, like, I mean, is he just at this point refusing to talk? Is it just like a dick move, a power move?
I feel weird. Like I think Baby Yoda's very cute. I feel weird. He's 50. what are we doing, Baby Yoda? Yeah, and to the point, like I don't like. I agree with you. The having him be the MacGuffin and then the core, the heart of the Mandalorian was smart because Star Wars has always been about merchandising. Like that is how Lucas was able to make so much
Cynically,
goddamn money
yeah.
off the original Star Wars was by hitching his way and like having faith in the fact that this would be a huge marketing opportunity. And the fact, like I remember a month before, or maybe 3 weeks before Phantom Menace came out, all the merchandise released, and it was insane. Every single character had an action figure.
Yeah.
You could get the Captain Panaka action figure. You could get, and they all came with these little chips to where you could like, they had voices and stuff.
I had
remember
a
Pepsi
braid.
and Pepsi and Mountain Dew had cans, and every can had a different character on it. You could get the book, you could get the CD. Like, so it's always been about merchandise. And at this point, it's just like, I feel kind of numb to it. Like, who's buying anything from this movie?
I have a episode 1 C-3PO figure in box with
the
a
one with all
postcard from
gangly.
George
He's all like the
Lucas.
wires and everything. Like he's
Yeah.
unfinished. Yeah.
I've got it with a postcard from George Lucas that is sent to my dad with it signed, but it's to me because my dad did the plumbing for his house in England.
Get
And he said, "Have you got anything for my son?" And he gave him this toy. And I've got that in England in like a special bag because my dad was like, "Don't open this; it's going to be worth something one day," and it won't.
Your dad
It's
might know the
fucking
kind of shit
episode
George
1.
Lucas takes, which is exciting.
Yeah,
I do like by the way that you can
You-
tell where you fall in the ranking by the fact that it's like, you know, you didn't get a Darth Maul figure, so you're not like top of the list, but you also can get like a Captain Panaka, so you're not down the bottom.
It's 3PO.
Yeah,
it's 3PO who is like a cameo on a wall in
Yeah,
episode 1.
he's there for like 5 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Darren, who do you put more of this on, Favreau or Filoni?
I put it on Iger and Damaro, honestly. I put it on the Disney
Yeah.
CEOs, the people who are responsible for it. I mean, like, this
I know in
is
your
a
video
fa-
you talked about you really like Favreau,
I
but
do.
like
I'm
his
very
recent
fond of
output has just been so corporate.
It has, and like the thing is that it's Filoni is the creative head of like Lucasfilm now, isn't it? And, like he's the one who's been pushing. His big vision is to do the throne heir to the emperor thing, which I think this may have killed. I think that like Josh D'Amaro took Baby Yoda outside back with a shovel and beat the puppet to death when those box office figures came in this weekend. But like Filoni's thing was always it's building to we're going to do a crossover of the shows as a gigantic summer blockbuster. We're going to have Ahsoka, we're going to have Mando, we're going to presumably have like Boba Fett in there as well, and they're all going to come
Avengers and
together.
Star
And
Wars.
that's it. In summer, the Avengers and fight Throne, and I'm like, regular people do not know any of the words that you have just thrown into that conversation,
Yeah.
Dave. You can't make a movie happen that way, and I
Yeah.
do feel like this maybe kills that. Is maybe the one good thing that comes of this whole debacle.
So, like I have such complicated feelings around Star Wars right now because I like personally I love the Ahsoka show and I know it's not everybody's bag, but like having been a huge fan of Rebels having the show tie right back to that, like I was like right back at home with it. So like I go back and rewatch like some of the fight scenes and all that, and I don't know. I really like Ahsoka and that whole. I do like the Thrawn story arc that they're going with and everything. Like I found that really engaging. The Anakin stuff I could take or leave, but
the issue with like the Filoni stuff is always that like his stuff feels like a reference to things without explaining the thing. Where it's like Thrawn, obviously, I've read like the Timothy Zahn novels. I have the Timothy Zahn comic books on my shelf here. I really like the Heir to the Emperor stuff in the expanded universe. Like, it's a good, well-written book. It's a good, well-written comic. Thrawn is a well-written character in that context. But the issue is when you get to Ahsoka, which is the idea of introducing Thrawn to a mass audience for the first time, you then have Filoni go, well, look, he's the greatest tactical genius the Empire has ever assembled. So what's he going to do to deal with this problem Ahsoka's presented? It's like, send another batch of stormtroopers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe you're not. Oh, hey, Ludo. Oh.
I saw Eric cropping a tiny little dog butt, and I was like, I'm just going to get it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my issue with Filoni, is that like he references all these things, but he never does the thing of making the case why I should care about it outside the fact that I already recognize it. That's always been my issue with Filoni. And I think there's an element of that here where like we talked about, Jay mentioned the cardinal sin of this movie is it just keeps refusing to have like plots and character arcs and things that make a movie work. But like the Rhoda the Hutt stuff, right? Rhoda's arc is, as Nick succinctly summarized coming in here, I'm not my dad. My dad's Jabba the Hutt. I'm my own man. And it's such his arc that his first two scenes involve him saying those three lines to the same character within 4 minutes of screen time of each other. But the issue is that is his arc. His arc is him discovering that he is his own man and he's not Jabba the Hutt. But it's already complete by the time the movie has begun. And he's not only like emphasizing how complete it is by repeating that he is already complete. It's like Mando shows up. He's like, "Sorry, bud, the movie happened several years ago. Get in line." Yeah.
Yeah. Like him just taking the Rebel storyline and continuing it in live action when most people that are watching the live action haven't probably watched the animated show because it's for kids. Like, that makes complete sense. I at least feel like Ahsoka has a play, like that show and that storyline, like has developed characters, has place. Where Mandalorian has never felt like that for me. Oh, the Darksaber, Mandalore. And then all these, like, even the show is just one-off episodes, and then everything culminates with the Book of Boba Fett. And it's like, what the? Like that show was nothing. There was nothing in that show.
That show was the volume is booked up because we're reshooting all of Obi-Wan, right? If I remember,
we need something to get on.
That's the backstory of like Boba Fett. It's like, Favreau, can you crank out 7 episodes? And it's like, yeah, sure.
Like even
2 of them will be Mandalorian episodes, but sure.
even like Maul. I've enjoyed the stuff they've done with Maul. Like the animated show they just did, I thought was great. Like that was a lot of fun. I go from like, Andor, which is an incredible piece of entertainment, no matter if you like Star Wars or not, to shows like Andor and Ahsoka. Ahsoka and Maul, and I would say even the Acolyte are like, okay, this is just fun Star Wars stuff. I don't need to think too deeply about it. And then you get stuff like the Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan, and it's like, this is just shit. There's like 3 layers of Star Wars.
Yeah, I don't like. Star Wars is clearly still capable of delivering greatness. Like Andor is one of my favorite.
That was the last live action
TV
thing
things.
it did before this, right?
Yeah.
Chronologically.
Yeah.
No, Skeleton Key was.
Skeleton Crew. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god, I completely forgot about that.
Those poor kids.
I legitimately forgot about that.
Even that show I didn't mind, but it still didn't really feel like it was about much.
I just don't like. It just feels like Star Wars. Like when a Star Wars thing happened, it used to mean something. If a Star Wars movie or even, it was an event. And again, you could say a similar thing about Marvel. Like I think Disney has a real. You could say a similar thing about Pixar. I think Disney has a real come to Jesus moment. If they already have one with Star Wars right now, and we'll get to it because how it ties in with the box office and stuff like Backrooms and Obsession. If Doomsday isn't a monumental success. Like, this is very like a very curious time for what felt like an indestructible monolith of the box office over the past this century.
Yeah,
And so yeah, I'll be
just gotten
curious to-
boring. Even like, like the comic book lovers, right? They're in like, after a while, it kind of becomes samey. If you get too much of it, like how much new can you do?
But also the fact that it's stuck in this transitional phase where it is not sure between the old and the new. It's not sure who it's for. Like, it's the same thing with Marvel. Marvel has the same problem that Star Wars has, which is the question of who is it for? Is it for 40-year-old dudes like me who remember the original films, or is it for kids who are coming up and want to embrace new things? Because this is the thing with like, kids love Rey, for example, from the sequel trilogy, but she happens to be toxic to a certain demographic of older people. And so Disney can't touch her for fear of provoking the older people. But the younger people are like, where's Rey gone? Why can't I like have more Rey? Why can't I have the character that I fell in love with in 2015? And the same thing happens with Marvel, where they do all this hassle after Endgame of introducing all the young characters, Kamala Khan, Kate Bishop, Yelena, etc., etc. These young up-and-coming, stars, played by young up-and-coming stars. And they're also like, but wait, the older audience need to feel like they're part of it too. So what we're going to do is we're going to build an Avengers movie, not about any of the new characters we've introduced over the past 7 years. We're just going to bring back Robert Downey Jr. We're going to bring back Chris Evans. We're going to bring back Chris Hemsworth. And it's like, who is this for? Because if I'm an older person seeing Chris Hemsworth, I'm like, I was into Chris Hemsworth 7 years ago. Why do I want to revisit that? And if I'm a young person who's like trying to get into this, I'm like, well, why do I want my dad's reheated leftovers? And that is the thing where there's no churn and no evolution and no sense of momentum and growth. And it's just that is the issue for me. It's like Grogu. It's stuck in that weird state of being both 50 years old and a baby.
50 years old and a baby.
Yeah.
I think you know what? I just realized Grogu might be a stand-in for current culture.
Oh my god! What if like the subtext here is actually genius and we just don't get it? And 20 years later, we're gonna be like, Mandalorian and Grogu. I actually predicted the future. They had a finger to the wind.
John, there are murals of Jon Favreau everywhere for us to see. The French new wave has adopted Jon Favreau as the.
We look back
at
Chef and we're like, yeah, it does make sense. Scarlett Johansson and that all checks out. Yeah,
I think the scene like right at the start of the movie where Grogu is tapping on his helmet as a missile is coming towards him. That's Disney right now.
That was cute. I didn't think that was cute. I do think Grogu tapping the paint
is great.
I like that they give him a little paint gun. I like that like Mando's like, you get a gun, but a paint gun.
Yeah, we'll give you this unplugged controller so you could play. Pretend you're the second player right now. Let's go over. I don't know. Does anyone have any last Star Wars thoughts before we go over super chats? I feel like any like venom you need to get out of your body. Any like
I don't know if we talked enough about how Rhoda the Hutt is his own man. He's not his dad.
He is his own man. While his dad, his dad, small business owner though. He employed a lot of people on that pleasure cruise.
It's very true to the spirit of Star Wars, by the way, to blow up the Jabba's palace without concerning about any of the slaves who happened to be.
He loved his dog. He loved his dog. He loved.
It was when not the rebels. Sorry, the New Republic.
All the dancers are in there.
Yeah.
Did you also notice? I've got two things on the Hutt thing. Yeah. Do you know when they first go to the Hutt planet and the inevitable fighter ships come in to basically give you permission to land? Did you notice that they were the barge ships but with wings? They were like Hutt's barge ships, but they had wings, and I'm like, so you're just taking any kind of Hutt iconography you have and just expand it, literally, just give it wings. I'm just like,
you say that though as if like Hutt didn't go from like the name of the character to the name of the species.
Yeah,
like, are they all? Is it like Bob the Hutt, Joe the Hutt, like Jim the Hutt?
There are some really cool and interesting ship designs. Like there's the one that it comes to pick up Rata the Hutt. It looks like a giant tortoise, and its engines are in its feet. I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. And that's the thing, they fly into the building at the end. Like, that was really cool. But also, I was thinking when I was watching this, because I was writing them all down. I was like, which one of these things, if they took all of the plots that they try to introduce and then skip, which one would I be the most interested in if they just chose it and did it as the movie? And honestly, it probably would be the Mandalorian is kidnapped by a badass bounty hunter, and Grogu and the little guys have to like silently infiltrate the Hutt palace. Like, That would have been, would have been sold on that immediately, but they just can't fucking commit, man. It's so annoying.
I like that this movie was brave enough to fly the planes into the bad guys' building, but the Running Man wasn't. At least one 2026 movie was brave enough.
It's because the huts weren't like kept up in a skyscraper. You know, they were in a fucking mound, right?
They're in a hut, if you will. Yes.
They're in
my God.
hut.
Hut in the hut.
My comment on what it would be rather watching Rise of Skywalker, since somebody brought it up on the chat. It's not because I thought Rise of Skywalker was good. I just felt
it's because he thinks Rise of Skywalker is great.
No,
you felt something, and art is meant to make you feel.
Watching that movie. This movie, I wanted to walk out. I was so bored.
I mean, at least the main actors. At least the main actors show their face for a majority of Rise of Skywalker.
I don't need to see Pedro's face.
I need to see Pedro Pascal's face. I'm kind of done with your main character wearing a mask. Like, I'm realizing I think I need to, like, facial acting to me is very important in a live action movie, and I'm just done with this fucking. You see who the second and third. When the credits start scrolling, it's Pedro Pascal and then the stand-ins, and I'm like, he was only there for the
set for one
underwater
day.
thing,
Yeah.
for when he lost his helmet. Yeah.
Did they shoot that on the Doomsday set? That's the question you need to ask.
Why
is there going to be a weird underwater bit in Doomsday?
Yeah, doesn't matter.
My favorite part in that movie is when they take off his helmet and he's like, "You've seen my face. Now I have to kill you."
Yeah.
That was a good line.
You're just a dude. Like, why do you chill out?
And then he kills the two incestuous slugs. Yes.
He got excommunicated, didn't he? Already?
Yeah, you can't get excommunicated.
But he came back. Like, there's a weird thing. Didn't like the third season, which I watched in prep for this.
I don't even remember the third season.
The third season of The Mandalorian, they kind of loosen up the helmet stuff, but also they keep the helmet stuff. Where it's a real thing. Where it's like we understand that like. The helmet stuff is this really uncomfortable metaphor for like very strict conservative religious upbringing and how maybe we need to have more tolerance and diversity. But also, Pedro Pascal's a very busy man and we would like to continue making the show. Yeah. So, compromise. You can take the helmet off, but this guy really doesn't like to.
Yeah.
That's the only reason they haven't taken the helmet off, so they can keep him casted, because they otherwise wouldn't need him. It could just be anybody.
Also because you could sell action figures without having to worry about likeness, so you can have them in the theme parks as well without having to worry about, somebody looking like Pascal. Like, it is the perfect Disney branding. Same thing with Grogu. As much as I love the puppets, it's like you can mass produce Grogu. I can give my mother Grogu,
Did you give her the bottle?
I can't give her Pedro Pascal.
The baby holder.
Yeah. I would like.
If he turns out,
what a better son would give Pedro Pascal.
He's gonna end up being a clone of Yoda because Palpatine just needed somebody to fight.
Oh my God! Somehow he returned. So,
like, this is the big thing. Having watched the third season of The Mandalorian, the fact that Star Wars at this stage, 6 years after like the Rise of Skywalker, is still trying to explain the Rise of Skywalker, where like that is no, but that is the thing. The whole big reveal of like why Moff Gideon wants Baby Yoda is because he wants to figure out how to clone Force powers, because Snoke makes sense. Damn it, Snoke makes sense. So, shut up, internet. Snoke makes sense. Sorry.
The introduction of Force healing is the worst thing to ever happen to the Force. I think that you just reminded me of Rise of Skywalker. When Grogu went up to the Mandalorian and he has that wound and he just goes, ooh, I'm like, you fuckers. Like, you absolute... And it doesn't get rid of the poison, I'll admit that, but he heals him and I'm like, okay, so this 50-year-old child that can't speak and can't be trusted to do any of this has the power to heal people. I'm just like... It's like the Josuke fucking... Anything where a character can just heal wounds makes all wounds just have no meaning. It doesn't matter if your chest gets blown off, the person's just going to heal you. And it's just like, okay, the stakes have been deleted. And I mean, actually, to be honest, there'd have to be stakes in this movie for that to happen.
Is Grogu fucking with us? Yeah, is Grogu fucking with us? Like, that's the thing. It's like, is Grogu, like, is he perfectly coherent and cogent? Can he speak better English than Yoda can?
He's just kids.
Playing a long game. Yeah, he actually has a second.
He's a middle-aged man.
Home. Yeah.
He's just into baby play, dude.
That's a nice place to go to Super Chats, actually. Grogu
we have a couple on that point. Yeah.
We have a lot of Super Chats related to Grogu baby play, so don't worry about that. Right off the bat, Quintuple, thank you so much much for your $10 dono. And remember, right now, all donos are going towards Bingo Round 2, Jess and Jenna in Stardew Valley. Very excited for that. Quintuple, thank you so much. Darren, since you've declared the Knicks to be your team on the 250, they have been undefeated and have blown out their opponents. Literally the best 11-game stretch statistically in NBA history, I will add. Your movie opinions aren't for sale, but how about your sports opinions?
We could talk about it off mic. I like anything like the cooler for sports, but anyway.
Yeah, it's you and William H. Macy. You're able to be the ones who can impact anything. And then Quintuple again with the $5 donut. Thank you so much, Darren. I can't believe Marvel made a character called Soft Serve who creates ice cream. Tell me this was the internet having a go at me. Is Soft Serve a real Marvel character, and will we see him in Doomsday and or Secret Wars?
She is one of those mutants on Krakoa. She is, I believe, the second ice cream based mutant to exist. The other one being Ice Cream, who can turn himself into any flavor of ice cream. But yes, the character really exists. I don't believe the character has any focus whatsoever. I think it is literally just a background character, like who was in a panel in a random comic during the 2020s when they were like, we need like 500 mutant stat. It's like, one who could create ice cream. It's like, so
fuck it. Yeah.
First idea, best idea.
Yeah.
My lord.
King Commoner, I'll get back to yours later when we're talking about Backrooms. Lee Fan, thank you so much with the $2 donor. Have you guys seen Exuma, the South Korean horror? I've not.
I've got a cream for that. I don't get it anymore.
You don't have eczema anymore. Good for you. I'm proud of you. No, I've not even heard of this movie. Have you, Darren? Exuma?
No.
Looks neat.
Yeah.
What's the critical response? It won a bunch of awards. It won a Blue Dragon Film Award.
Right.
Blue Dragon, the Xbox 360 game?
Yeah, Blue Dragon, the Xbox 360 game. One of those.
It's like we don't even get awards. We just liked the movie so much we felt like it was time to
Just gave him a copy of the game.
On set.
John Brooks, thanks for re-upping in the Green Gang. Will Nick, the boss, last 3 hours off of Marathon? Joke's on you. It's only 2 hours today.
Yeah.
Season 2 started today, and I'm talking about Star Wars instead of playing that. So,
poor guy, and then you gotta watch PlayStation. Poor guy.
Oh no!
So
I'm gonna be behind. Everybody's gonna be leveled up by the time I get in. I'm gonna get.
Don't worry, the game will probably shut down by the time season 3 comes out.
I'm leaving the podcast for that specific.
Oh no! And then R.I.P. Grogu with a bunch of donos. I'm gonna do these rapid fire.
Great name, by the way.
All right. Did you guys know that Grogu is dead? Movie so bland, not even white people like it. That's crazy. That 4 whites don't even like this movie. This is nuts. This is unheard of. And then another dono. This movie would be so much better if they played some Subway Surfers footage next to it in theaters. That way you could be entertained. That'd be good. You should start doing that. Listen, we're kind of getting close there. If this trend of Backrooms and like 20-year-old directors is going to continue, maybe we do have a little bit of Subway Surfers on the side of the screen.
We talk about Backrooms, but like my big takeaway is that the 20-year-old YouTuber made more of a movie than the 59-year-old guy who's been making movies for 30 years. Mm-hmm. Like he made more of an actual movie than the guy who has been making movies for 3 decades. Now.
Yeah, but the 20-year-old wasn't being micromanaged by a cacophony of vampires. So
he was just being secretly directed by Jay Duplass or whatever.
Oh yeah. They keep saying all these movies had a ghost direct. Andy Richter ghost directed Obsession.
No, that's it. Jon Favreau was off ghost directing.
That's it. That's why he wasn't doing Mandalorian.
That's why it sucked.
Yeah.
Incredible. I love it.
There was a lot more puppet stuff in the original cut of Backrooms.
Yeah. I mean, there is kind of a puppet. There's like the monster kind of looks like a puppet. R.I.P. Grogu, thank you so much. Is it okay to ask how Hutts reproduce? We know Jabba is interested in other species, but is it something weird like real life slugs? Is it asexual? Is the sausage hidden somewhere? I don't know if Jabba is interested in other species. Like, you can go into the whole Leia thing. I feel like it's a power dynamic thing and less a sexual thing, but I don't know. That's how I always
try not to think too hard about that sort of stuff.
It keeps me up at night, to be honest.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Keeps someone up at night.
Dave Filoni will make a whole entire TV series about it.
Yeah, called Jabba's Cloaca.
That's implying that Dave Filoni is in fact alive right now, right? Like,
you didn't walk into the Disney meeting room on Monday morning and discover it completely empty and covered in plastic.
Yeah. Just his cowboy hat is
Rhoda, coming to a Hooters near you.
There you go. R.I.P. Grogu. Do you think they'll do an updated version of Mandalorian and Grogu where they replace the puppets with CGI?
Well, I think this means puppets is dead. I think
40
like
years.
Hollywood not learning its lesson is that like the lesson that Hollywood is going to take from this is people don't like puppets.
Yeah.
Not people don't like movies without plots. Not people don't like
do this to me,
TV.
Darren.
No, like that is like I guarantee you, Josh tomorrow's like, you know what? It's the fucking puppets.
Yeah,
It was
Netflix learned that real quick with the Dark Crystal.
Baby Yoda crossed me once too often.
Baby Yoda crossed me too often. And that's why he's R.I.P. Grogu. I have an idea for Star Wars that Nick will 100% love, medieval Star Wars. An idea that Marty will love, Kingdom Hearts Star Wars. A reminder that Kingdom Hearts is 100% owned by Disney, so they can do it. I mean, Star Wars is going to be in the next... I would bet money Star Wars will be in the next Kingdom Hearts game.
Give me
Which is a great way of managing the brand.
Find more people who don't like Star Wars to make Star Wars.
Yeah.
Find more people like Tony Gilroy. I think that's the
yeah.
secret. Find people who don't give a shit about this.
But
Just
same thing
wanna
with
make
Marvel is just hire
Ryan
people who want
Johnson.
to make good movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan Johnson wanted to make a trilogy, and like the thing is, Kathleen Kennedy is apparently like the one project that Disney have had of Star Wars. Well, the two projects that Disney have had of Star Wars that did not explode on them were Andor and like the fucking Last Jedi, and it's like those have become weirdly radioactive, and they won't touch them. So they're like, let's just make TV shows we have to shoot twice. Yeah.
Andor was radioactive. I didn't follow much of the fan discussion on that because I didn't want to.
No, well, there's again, who knows if any of this is true. There's rumors about internal fighting and about the idea of like fiefdoms and the idea that like certain people in Lucasfilm didn't like that, like he didn't have to answer to other people. That like Gilroy was given his own free reign to do what he wanted, and he didn't have to come under the rim of the hat to a certain extent.
Yeah.
It could be anybody. It could be anybody.
And it's crazy that Tony Gilroy made literally the best work of his career inside of Star Wars. Like,
yeah, one of the best TV shows. Like inside or outside IP, one of the best TV shows of the 2020s. Like,
it's a really good show.
Yeah. And then R.P. Grogu, last one. If you watch an interesting TV show but with a terrible ending because they decide to make a new season at the last moment, The Boss from Disney / Hulu. If you want to watch I don't know what The Boss is. Do you know what The Boss is? Looks like someone's dead and someone's in that coffin. Do you think it's a Weekend at Bernie's reboot? How come they don't bring back Weekend at Bernie's? That feels like a Jack question.
That's our current president. I don't know what you want.
That's our current president. Gotcha.
A Weekend at Bernie's TV show where over the course of the episodes, it gets progressively more decomposed, so it gets harder to convince people.
7-episode season, a week at Bernie's.
Oh, Week at Bernie's.
It's guys, I have some great news. It is a 20th century property, so it belongs to Disney. So a Disney Plus TV show streaming soon.
Mando Weekend at Bernie's crossover.
Oh my God, we're there.
I think at this stage, Mando is the dead body that they're carting around. Yeah.
You know
that they did Bernie's too, right? By the way, which involved
there's a second Weekend at Bernie's. More weekends, a long weekend.
Where the boss's dead corpse is. The late boss's dead corpse is targeted by a voodoo queen hired by mobsters who want to find the $2 million that Bernie embezzled. And the tagline is, wait for it, Bernie's back, ... and he's still dead.
Oh, I was worried that he'd be reincarnated.
Tagline, though.
I don't want that shambling zombie here. I can't handle that. Double the fingers. Thank you so much. Funny enough, the Clone Wars movie, which was also considered stitched together TV episodes, was all about saving Rhoda too. You see, it rhymes. It's poetry. It rhymes.
It is.
Like Luke unironically loved the puppet stuff in this movie. He would just like want it to be about the Iran war as well. Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
This was a bad idea, guys. Get out.
He taught me about taxation when I was too young to understand what the fuck was going on with taxation.
Like trade blockades. And it's like, man, I really wish somebody in media were talking about trade blockades right now.
Yeah. Thanks, George. Cool. Let's say the rest of these super chats. Let's jump over to let's talk about Backrooms and then the kind of the box office, the bigger box office conversation surrounding that. So, Mandalorian and Grogu in its second weekend was not the biggest box office story of the weekend, and the number one spot with I believe $85 million by the end of the weekend domestically was Backrooms. directed by 20-year-old Kane Parsons. This is based on his own YouTube series, based on the kind of creepypasta Backrooms, liminal space horror that's been popular online for the last 6 or 7 years. He made the YouTube series in 2022, largely using Blender, like the CG creation engine, which most recently we've talked about on here with the movie Flow. I believe was the animated movie. That great animated movie was entirely created in Blender. Darren, what did you think of the Backrooms? I know you have a backdrop on it that is ready to go up after a very tumultuous weekend.
Not at all stressful weekend, and not at all a cursed production. No, I really like the Backrooms. I mean, we'll talk about the box office in a little while. The Backrooms is really interesting as like a piece of like Gen Z horror. It is like a film, as you say, directed by a 20-year-old. It is a very liminal horror, like we've talked about recently, the wave of them, most obviously including like the Exit 8 movie, which came out recently as well. But what's really interesting is, have you guys watched the web series? Have you guys watched the web shorts by Kane Parson?
I watched all of them this weekend, actually. I'd seen one or two of them in the past, and I only knew that because when I went to YouTube, the line was already at the end, and I was like, I guess I did watch this. But yeah, I watched the whole playlist this weekend.
What's really interesting is they are very much a digitally native horror thing, where they're fragmented and they're kind of structured, and it's a non-linear narrative that is told through a variety of different perspectives, jumping back and forward through time, giving you little snippets of information that you as an audience member are asked to piece together. It is very much like a piece of media for the internet age. It kind of reminds me a lot weirdly.
I believe.
Yeah. Augmented reality games, is it? Yeah.
Unless I'm wrong, I'll look it up.
Okay, sorry, but the idea of like a nebulous piece of media that is consumed through the internet through a network, and you as an audience member have to piece it together, and you kind of construct the plot by reference of the objects to each other and all that sort of stuff. It is a very digitally native type of horror. And what I found really interesting about the movie, which I joked about a moment ago, but was also entirely serious about, this is a movie. This is an actual, honest to goodness, linear horror movie that is well constructed, that has like character and themes. And to Jay's point, it has a plot. It has things that happen and clear arcs and objectives within it. It understands its characters, and it has like a strong sense of what is happening, why it's happening, and what needs to happen in order for this to be brought to closure. And what I found really like interesting about it is that I kind of went into it expecting something that would feel like the internet horror, but on a big screen. And I was kind of impressed by how much what I got felt like an adaptation of the underlying themes, ideas, and, percolating thoughts that bubble through the internet stuff, but distilled into the shape of a movie, where you have 2 Oscar nominees driving this movie, which is absolutely incredible, directed by a 20-year-old. For me, the biggest issue with the movie is that the actual plot of the movie feels almost rudimentary. This follows a furniture shop owner named Clark, played by Chiwetel Ejiofor. His wife has left him recently, and he is not processing it particularly well. He is living in the furniture store that he operates. He notices one day that power is being drained from his store, goes downstairs and discovers that there is a portal into the eponymous Backrooms. He then goes to his therapist, tries to convince her that the Backrooms are in fact real and he's not having a psychotic breakdown. And basically, over the course of the movie, she ends up following him into this weird liminal space. And what's really interesting is that while it has all the elements that you associate with the idea of a liminal horror, with the idea of the Backrooms, in all those online shorts, the actual movie itself is referencing The Shining. It is referencing like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It is clearly structured around the modern idea of a horror movie that has to be about trauma, to the point where the plot of this movie is a guy talking to his therapist about his feelings and his internal life as a way of articulating the central metaphors of what the Backrooms represent. And I was honestly quite charmed by it. I don't think it is as good as Obsession, which is the other movie that is inevitably going to enter the conversation when we talk about like the box office, when we talk about what's happening in pop culture. But more broadly, I just kind of left with a big grin on my face, because I felt like There is an anxiety at the moment about the emergence of this class of YouTube filmmakers and them coming to film. And there is a certain sensitivity online by like old-fashioned fuddy-duddies, people my age, who are like, what's going to happen to this beloved medium? They're going to let anybody do it. And they've always let anybody do it. In the 70s, people came from television to make them. In the 90s, people came from music videos to make movies. Now they're coming from YouTube to make movies. And my only real concern is when you make that leap from one medium to the other, whether you're Steven Spielberg moving from Columbo to direct Jewel, to direct Sherlock Express, to direct Jaws, when you're David Fincher moving from directing Vogue to directing Alien 3 to directing Seven, and when you're Kane Pixels moving from directing YouTube videos to directing 2 Oscar-nominated actors in this smash hit movie, is do you like movies? Do you like the art form in which you're working? Do you see this as a medium with its own history and context and its own language that you are embracing and playing with? And I think watching Backrooms, I was like strangely comforted to walk away from it going, yeah, he gets it. He understands what he's doing. He understands the assignment, and he has done a very good job at the age of 20 translating what is inside his head digitally native into like the lingua franca of a 2-hour narrative feature film. I don't think it's a perfect movie. I don't think it's the best movie I've seen this year. I don't think it's the best horror movie I've seen this year, but I had a really good time with it. And I think it is a much better movie in every way that you can interpret the phrase a much better movie than The Mandalorian and Grogu. It would be my takeaway.
Yeah,
There's some interesting parallels between that and the games industry, because it feels like, we're going to get into that discussion in a little bit, but movies is kind of having that indie moment that games had, where it's like, we don't need to be constrained by $1 million budgets to make these kinds of movies, and creative people with creative ideas. Like in the game space, like some of the biggest hits of the last decade have come out from just people that were kind of in that YouTube space, but not really, but like Roblox, where you just create games. And that's where what was the one? Lethal Company came out of. Just a new game with fresh ideas that exploded.
Well, yeah, and it's funny to talk about this with Star Wars, because there is that, like, that was, this isn't the first time we've seen this, right, in film history, Darren. Like we've seen this. I feel like every few decades, maybe every 20 years, this seems like there is a new young class that gets introduced. And
Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, you saw it in the 70s with Lucas and Spielberg and De Palma and
and in the 90s with like the Fincher and stuff like that. Like, and it always happens, again, not to spoil the back, which may or may not be releasing at some point nebulously this week, appropriately enough in a liminal space, much like this horror movie. But like the idea is that at every point Hollywood grows so big and so cliche and so decadent. So in the 60s, they're just pumping out westerns and musicals according to formula, and audiences are just tired. And it's not even that like they're particularly bad, they're just extremely mediocre and formulaic, and everybody has seen that western, that musical a dozen times before. There's no interest in it. And to your point, all of a sudden they show up and they do something like Easy Rider, and Easy Rider just blows people's minds in terms of what it can do. It speaks to a younger audience who don't see themselves on film. They're like, oh my god, that's incredible. You get to the 80s and all of a sudden like movies are being executively produced by Cocaine, and it's great for the first couple of years, right? And like we all loved like Beverly Hills Cop, we all love our 80s blockbusters, but you get to the end of the 80s and it's like you have in the 90s, like in 1990, 1991, you have the biggest summer ever in 1989 with like, Last Crusade, Batman, Lethal Weapon 2, etc. But in 1990, 1991, you have like the four actually. You have Alien 3, which is just a disastrous production from beginning to end. You have the Hudson Hawk, which is just like a disaster in every possible sense of the word. You have Days of Thunder, the movie which had a literal cocaine budget on it, and everybody involved said never again. And then you also had like Havana, which is the Robert Redford like big $40 million gross $8 million movie about the Cuban Revolution. And what happens in response to that is you get this wave of up-and-comers like Steven Soderbergh, like David Fincher, like Quentin Tarantino. These people who, to Nick's point, can make cheaper movies, guerrilla style, but can also make movies that speak to a generation that don't see themselves in the dominant form of what has been pop culture for, to Marty's point, the past 20 years. And like, my really big optimistic read on this is it's not just because, anything can be a blip. If it were just Backrooms, it's just one thing, it's a freak weekend, never mind. But it is a sense that this has been happening consistently, And this has been happening like over the past couple of years, and it's all been building to something where you mentioned the Mandalorian and Grogu. First of all, Backrooms, which costs like what 1/18th of what Mandalorian and Grogu did, ends up outgrossing it over the 3-day weekend. You also have like Mandalorian and Grogu has a catastrophic 70% drop, which would be bad news for a movie that had broken box office records, is worse news for a movie that underperformed to start with. But it doesn't drop to second. It drops to third. And it drops to third behind Obsession, a movie that released a week before it did, that was also made on like 1/10,000th of
yeah, it was less than $1 million. Yeah,
less than $1 million. And it's like you take all these factors and you add them up, and it does feel, to Marty's point, like we are maybe in a space where I don't want to say that it is going to happen because that will jinx it. I also understand that the movie industry is always a volatile thing, and I also understand that capitalism is in a particularly precarious and weird state at the moment. But we are in a moment where it feels like there are the basic ingredients for there to be another spontaneous bolt of creative energy in the same way there was in the like late 60s, in the early 90s. It's honestly about you. And it's like, do I think the wind is going to blow the right direction, that fire will catch? I don't know if I'm that optimistic, but coming out in the cinema this weekend, I was like, this is great. I think more of this. Sorry.
The one key difference, and I think again it's the same parallel. I think it's just the entertainment industry in general. Is like back then, there wasn't like all these avenues for endless growth of profit.
Yeah.
You know, you would release a movie, you make your money back, you make another one. Now they have streaming, now they have all this other stuff to tie into it and make endless amounts of money. And it seems like just the creative industry in general is like enough. Like
studios used to be run by people who like movies. Now they're run by theme park executives. Sorry, Jay, I think you want to jump in there.
Yeah, I think two things. One, I think your comparison to the 60s and the musical decline is perfect. I think like I can view Mandalorian and Grogu very similar to Dr. Dolittle from 67. Yeah. Like this, let's spend a bunch of money, we think this is going to succeed, and then it just bombs. And other things are outperforming it. I think that's a great comparison. But I also think within this space, when we look at Obsession and the Backrooms, we see this a lot, that horror movies in general, like I think it's important not to understate the genre, because horror movies are famous for having much lower budgets and outperforming that budget consistently. That's why they're mass produced. I think the important part of all of that's like a cynical way of looking at it. They've done well because they're horror movies.
It's fair.
But another thing is the people who made them is the important thing, and that glimmer of hope is that hopefully that will allow these, you know, money hats over at Hollywood to greenlight a lot more smaller projects from people who have less experience. There's none of this, well, you need 10 blockbuster movies under your belt before we'll allow you to like direct this thing. It's like, okay, well, let's give these teams a little bit less money, but take a chance. And I think we'll see that a lot, but maybe primarily just in the horror space, because that's where they historically perform.
And horror has always, there will always be an audience of 15-year-olds and to 30-year-olds who want to see a horror movie every generation. You can go back to, you know, and these relatively cheap horror movies. You know, that was Halloween, that was Night of the Living Dead, that was Paranormal Activity, Blair Witch Project. Like, this isn't
Chainsaw,
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, And I think you hit the nail on the head, Darren, that it is. We're going to have to wait and see. Like, we're in a holding pattern right now. But there are those 3 data points that happen to fall right at the same time, which is Obsession every weekend making more money than the previous weekend. Second weekend made more money than the first weekend. Third weekend made more money than the second weekend. Possibly next weekend will make more money than this previous weekend, which is insane. Like, outside of like a handful of things at Christmas time, like it is kind of unheard of. And then you have the success of the Backrooms, which was, you know, a passion project of someone who started working on this when they were 16, and then at 20 got to direct this movie with A24 with Chiwetel Ejiofor and Renata Rensve. And then you have Star Wars, at once the most monolithic pop culture thing on the planet, landing with a fucking thud. And even the people who like the movie it's kind of like I like the movie, I don't love the movie. And so you have these three huge things happening at once, and any of these could have been different. The Backrooms could have been released in March, Obsession could have been released in October, and then maybe we wouldn't have even correlated those things. But the fact that they're all happening at the exact same time, and then again, like, for as good as you say it is, I have a feeling He-Man's gonna kind of bomb. And another kind of look at, people don't want this 80s nostalgia anymore. Like, people don't want this. The people going to the movies are young people. Old people are not going to the theaters anymore. And the young people just are, like you said, are kind of done with leftovers.
Hype things are milked dry consistently. Like, the 80s thing has just been done to death in the last 15 years. It's like everyone is tired. It's the same thing that happened with musicals. Like, we're just going to come to that point, and then a new thing is going to dive in.
I mean, like,
it's
for
not just
the video
movies either. All the biggest TV series are 80s and 90s nostalgia.
Yeah,
right
like
now.
and
Stranger
what's
Things,
it called? Stranger Things killed it because they just kept doing it. Right? They milked it dry.
But you say that, though, as if like HBO hasn't been turned into like an IP factory farm, though. That's the thing where, like, there is the urge from on top to just keep funneling these things that people already recognize and already know. Like the video, that may or may not release at some point whenever. Like, I just, for shits and giggles, I did like a little graph thing where I just like charted the box office earnings of like the major franchises. I picked 2014 as the starting point because that was like the release of the highest grossing Transformers movie. And it's like, those franchises have like been around for 10 years at that point. So they're 20 years old now. And there is, like, no matter what the franchise is, and you can put your hands up, and in every data point you can say there's an excuse. Maybe it's COVID, or maybe China and Russia, those cinemas aren't available, and so there's a decline. But there is like almost a 50% drop in every franchise from that pinnacle around about like 2015, 2016-ish, where like you compare what like the Fast and Furious movies were making in the mid 2010s to what the last three have made, and they're half what they were. The Transformers movies, even if you discount the animated one that bombed, they're still making half of what they were at the height of the Bay movies, for example. The Star Wars movies, to Marty's point, gigantic crest coming up to, and then sort of like with The Force Awakens, you've got a gradual decline, and then they just go to streaming, and here we are now. And it does feel like, to Jay's point, these franchises have all been around consistently, right? Because you can say what you want. Star Wars is an old franchise, but Star Wars went away. Star Wars went away for 15 years between the originals and the prequels. It went away for 10 years between the prequels and the sequels. So there was this buildup of anticipation. Yeah, I was watching them all the time. I was watching the Ewoks TV show. But generally speaking, like, there is this, like, you have to go away to come back. And these things have just been with us constantly at this stage for 10 years, maybe 20 years in some cases. And it's hard not to feel exhausted by it. Like, even when they're good, even when like there are good examples, or even when like the floor on quality is relatively high, where like the Marvel stuff is like, even when the Marvel stuff is bad, it's generally workmanlike, like, as grudgingly as you might say that. But it's like, if you have to watch 31 workman-like movies and TV shows in the space of 7 years, you are going to get tired of that. It is going to
franchise. I guess it's going to be an obvious point for probably you guys, because you're on this all the time. But I feel like Star Trek like already proved that this happens.
Oh yeah,
because Star Trek was milked like crazy in the
90s. It had that 90s arc where it had this incredible, the first 10 years after it came back, like the 30th anniversary, which is 10 years after The Next Generation, was like a massive event that was like televised. They launched like the Star Trek The Experience in Las Vegas. And it's like, Star Trek is never going away. And 10 years later, Star Trek, we regret to inform you that Star Trek has gone away. Same thing happened with like the revivals of the Paramount Plus shows, where that first season of Discovery premieres, and like you have the revival movies and stuff like that. And you have like Vulture calls the first season of Star Trek Discovery like a bold reimagining of the franchise. And whatever fans complain about that season of television, having like culture makers go, and this Star Trek show is pretty damn good, to where it is now, which is dead in a ditch with Baby Yoda, is like a hell of an arc over the course of 10 years. But it is, you run these things into the ground, and people get exhausted by them, and people get tired of them. And I will put my hands up and say, like, I don't think the Star Trek quality was on average very good, but I think that it happens with everything. Even if you somehow had a magic switch that could make all that content very good, there is a point where you're just going to be like one of those kids in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. You're
Right.
like, please stop.
My favorite thing right now is Warner Bros. Getting in at the 11th hour of Lord of the Rings. Let's make a fucking movie about Gollum. Yeah.
The hunt for Gollum.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
And bring back all the same actors except Aragorn.
Except
Who's
Vigo,
gonna be a
who's
new
smart enough to be
actor.
like, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
But
I do
he's
love
a
the
key,
Vigo.
he's a key point in.
They've recast them.
They recast. And
Yeah.
Viggo Mortensen
So,
is like, I
Gandalf is gonna be
support
the
this
same.
recasting. I'm like, of course you do. You get to like skive off working on Lord of the Rings. Sorry.
Yeah. Gollum's gonna be the same. Gandalf's gonna be the same. Frodo's
Yeah.
gonna be the same.
It's
This
directed by
guy's
Andy
new.
Serkis, right?
Yeah.
That's how they got Serkis back. Is they're like, we'll let you direct.
We'll let you direct
because
it. He
some
wasn't he
things-
second unit director on the Hobbit movies?
Yeah, and like Serkis he directed the best Venom movie. Like Serkis is an actual director. I think he did like Death of a Superhero, which is a small Irishman. No, Serkis is like a legitimate.
No. I just laugh at the best Venom movie being like a barometer.
Well, he
I
also
agree
did
with you. It's the best
also
Venom
did the
movie, but
Jungle
it's just a
Book.
funny sentence.
What was the other?
I'm
what was
out
movie
of
he
the
did for
Eddie
Netflix?
closet. Sorry.
He did like the dark version of the Jungle Book or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he did the Animal Farm movie as well from
And you
Ancient
know who
Studios.
did the light version of the Jungle Book? John Favreau.
John Favreau.
Oh
Those
my
are
God.
career arcs, like right
yeah,
there.
that's inside of
Which was
us. Are
actually
Jungle
ghost
Books.
directed by a 12-year-old
Hollywood, yeah.
Backrooms director.
Oh yeah, it was ghost. Yeah, Jungle Book was ghost directed by 12-year-old Kane Parsons.
Game Parsons.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I read a thing. They said his Kane Parsons' dad has been in the video game industry, a developer for 30 years. I'm like, who is it? It's not Pete Parsons. I know it's not him. Like I know it's not
Those
Bungie.
Cars.
Yeah, I'm just curious, like who his dad is.
Not
Obviously,
everyone who works in the industry has a name, right? You could just be like a texture artist that likes to fly under the radar. Doesn't mean
Yeah,
they're
that'd be
a
nice.
face.
Yeah.
I thought he was noted
Um,
Cambridge physicist Alan Parsons.
How long?
Um,
How long before that Stephen Colbert Lord of the Rings movie gets canceled?
I don't think that'll ever happen. I mean, that's the thing is like I've just learned to not get excited by a movie being announced because, and I should get better at that about games being announced. Like I tend to, because there's just a non-zero chance anything that gets announced will not happen, right? Because how many of those Star Wars movies got announced and never happened? How many video game adaptations have been announced and never happened? There are certain creators, like I feel like Taika Waititi at one time had like 30 projects, and I'm like, you're gonna do one of these, or your movie's gonna bomb. You're gonna do none of them.
But he was riffing on a level that was freaking sublime.
He was riffing on a level that was freaking sublime, and
It's
that is
all
one
Ghost.
thing we forget about Free Guy is that there was riffing on levels that was freaking sublime. That being said, the two biggest movies of the summer are going to be Spider-Man and Toy Story.
Yeah.
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 So the 5th Toy Story movie and the 4th Spider-Man movie, or the 10th Spider-Man movie, however you want to look at it.
And the 5th Avengers movie is probably going to be the 3rd biggest movie of the year behind
Yeah.
those two. Like, yeah.
Well, the thing with Spider-Man though is like, is it? I for the industry, I hope those movies don't do as well as they think they are, because they claimed that the Spider-Man trailer was the most viewed thing on YouTube ever, like in the first day, and they lied.
I
I'm
think
sure
it's
they
gonna
had.
do
Did they have
okay.
some
Oh.
bullshit metric they could do of like
The bullshit metric
minutes-
was they
minutes
added
watched.
up all the views between all shorts released, all videos released, and they combined them. So the highest one ever is GTA 6, and it got like an insane amount of views in the first day. It was like 170 million or something crazy. The brand new day, whatever it's called, got like 30. And then they've been like, oh yeah, it's the most viewed thing ever on YouTube in a day. It's like, you're just lying. What are you doing?
Sometimes it's just nice to lie. They're like, I didn't think anyone would actually check that shit.
Yeah.
I assume
I didn't realize I was reporting data points to the police here.
Whoa.
I thought we were just
Statistics?
riffing. Since when has
Is that
riffing
police?
not been sublime?
on a freaking sublime. I mean, the thing about like the Spider-Man thing is like, at least if that does well, like part of me is like, well, that will allow Sony to throw like some spare change to Danny Boyle to make the 3rd like 28 whatever's movie.
He said he's filming it later this year, right?
I think early next year is the plan, basically.
I guess is that more of a just like dress for the job you want kind of thing? Like where
that's
he's like,
the thing. It's
I'm
like,
filming it. Let's see if anyone's gonna tell me no.
I'm going to show up on set. I'm going to be in England with a camera crew.
With
whether or not-
4,000 iPhones ready to shoot this. You can't stop me.
Yeah, like part of me is like that's and same thing with the fucking Mario movie where it's like, well, that allows Universal to just like flush the budget for like Disclosure Day down the toilet. It's like that doesn't count. Like you don't get to complain about Disclosure Day underperforming as long as Mario is making as much money as Mario is.
Yeah.
The thing with like Disney is that Disney just make movies like that where it's like the money from Doomsday and Toy Story 5 is going to go into Toy Story 6 and Secret Wars.
Yeah. It's funny you bring up Disclosure Day because the studio has to be worried about this movie, and I know that because Darren, obviously you've listened to some Ringer podcasts, like we talked about the big picture before. The Rewatchables, one of their biggest podcasts that Bill Simmons does. The episode dropped on Sunday night. I got the notification on my phone, and it's like we're doing 2001: A Space Odyssey with me, Sean Fennessy, and Steven Spielberg, and I'm like, oh. They're really worried about this movie if Spielberg's going on the Rewatchables for it.
They're like, even in the Irish press corps, there is awareness of like how hard Universal are anxious about the movie. Where like there was a bit of chatter before He-Man of like all the stuff that Universal are trying to do to raise awareness, which is good. Like I like that they are pushing it. I like that they're not announcing it as dead on arrival. I kind of like the quote unquote last trailer for Disclosure Day. The final trailer is literally. Have you watched the final trailer for Disclosure Day?
No, because I've been told not to because they're like their whole thing of we're not going to show the aliens. They just show in the trailer. I'm like, I don't want to watch this.
Really cool. Really cool.
All over social media.
But like that second trailer, the part of it that I really like is like it is 2 minutes and 20 minutes long, and like 1 minute and 20 minutes of it is Steven Spielberg staring down the barrel of the camera going, I really want you to see this movie. It's very important to me, Steve. There we go. Eric's got him right there. That is the trailer. It's not a behind the scenes material. That is playing in theaters. It's like, I'm Steven Spielberg. I'm going to intercut my voice and my face with footage from the movie telling you how much I want you to see this movie. Go see this movie, please. Yeah. Please see this movie. And I say that as somebody who's really looking forward to the movie. Like,
I think it's tough though, because like we say, it's one of those we can't have our cake and eat it too, because if we are championing out with the old, in with the new, a younger generation going to movies and gravitating towards things that speak to them, I don't know if 15 to 25-year-olds give a shit about Steven Spielberg because they weren't born when Steven Spielberg was becoming Steven Spielberg. Like the same reason they don't give a shit about Indiana Jones, because Indiana Jones was calling back to an era that is like almost 100 years ago.
But the thing about the Indiana Jones thing is you already did the nostalgic cash-in 20 years ago. You can't hit the nostalgic cash-in twice and be like, this time we really mean it.
Yeah.
As a huge Spielberg fan, like, the trailers for the Disclosure Day have not done anything for me.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a hard movie to market. I'm gonna be there because of him and the cast, and it's a fucking Spielberg alien movie, which I love. Yeah, I've loved all of them all so far. So yeah.
I mean, the thing about that, though, is it's while the young people are leading the movement, and while, like, you know, in the 70s and in the 90s, you did have these young people coming up and the young people driving the conversation. Like, there was always time for old craftspeople, right? Like, I don't think that, like, Denis Villeneuve and Christopher Nolan are going to be walked out into the field and told to look at the flowers as Kane Parson loads his shotgun or whatever. It's going to be like Stanley Kubrick, who was making films in the 50s and continued making movies into the 90s. It's going to be like Sidney Lumet, who was making, like, 12 Angry Men in the 1950s and continued making movies again nearly through to the 90s as well. Like, you will have people who will continue to work and will, like, be alongside that. Like, I don't think Nolan's going anywhere. I don't think Villeneuve is going anywhere. And to be honest, the thing about Spielberg, which I quite like about late Spielberg, is he's kind of like late Scorsese, where he doesn't really seem to want to be, with the exception of Disclosure Day and Ready Player One, it really feels like Spielberg has gotten a lot of the please like me, I need you to like me, please love me, tell me that you love me out of his system, and it's just making movies that interest him. Where I think that, like, his last couple of movies, like The Fabelmans and West Side Story, are like are stunning pieces of cinema. And they're not stunning pieces of cinema because, you know, they speak to 25-year-olds. They're stunning pieces of cinema because they're like movies that he has wanted to make for decades and has always been kind of a little bit too embarrassed and too worried about what people would think of them or about him if they saw them, and he's finally comfortable doing it. I don't mind like Spielberg no longer being a generation shorthand for greatest living director. And I'm like, honestly, I'm glad like Disclosure Day is getting the push that it is. I don't think it needs to be a hit. I am bracing myself for it to be a massive failure. I think what I don't like is the fact that it will inevitably be talked about as like a greatest failure. And it's like, well, Hollywood needs to learn the right lessons. And it's like, really, what other 70-year-old filmmakers are getting $100 million budgets that we need to put a stop to right now?
Yeah. Who's been consistently making great movies for over 50
The
years?
investors
That would be
will
like,
say that.
Yeah.
that would just be like in
Lassie
20
Hailstrom must be stopped now. And I'm like, okay.
But like in 2075, if the new Curry Barker or Kane Parsons movie is coming out, and they've been making movies every 3 years for 50 years, that's what a new Scorsese or a new Spielberg movie is like.
But like Jaws like ate like Billy Wilder's front page for breakfast, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that Billy Wilder stopped being a great director. It just meant that times change, and like Wilder, I'm not Tarantino. I don't believe Wilder should have been put out to pasture at a certain point in the 1960s. But like there is a sense of just the changing of the guard.
You know what's funny? This is like a very similar discussion I've had to have with Yahtzee.
Yeah.
He's worried about his video views going down. It's like, well, dude, you're 20 years into it. Like,
it's hard. It's hard to. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, anyone who's able to stay relevant for as long as someone like Yahtzee or as long as someone like
Spielberg.
fucking Spielberg is just insane. The fact that Stephen King books people still get excited for is wild to me.
Yeah.
Let's go over some more super chats. We're doing good. I'm gonna be honest, guys. Famous last words. We're doing good. I think we're doing good.
One of these super chats is gonna spark a 45 minute. Right.
You're doing good.
I know exactly which one it's going to be, too.
No, it's going to be fine. They're all fine. If I read them back to back and you guys don't have time to say anything, this is like a 5-minute segment. King and Commoner with a $10 dono. Thank you so much, King and Commoner. I saw the Backrooms last night. It was an okay movie, but it almost felt childish. It's one of the first R-rated horror movies I've seen since turning 30 that felt notably aimed at a younger generation.
Probably because it is.
Was Obsession also R-rated? Again, I don't know how American ratings work.
Yeah,
like ours was 15 PG.
Yes. Had to have been.
Oh yeah, because there is a sex scene. I mean,
there's a sex scene. There's a ton of extreme.
That's why it's
like facial removal and stuff.
Facial removal. That's a nice way to put it. Facial removal.
But they're aimed at like 18-year-olds. They're aimed at like 17 and 18-year-olds, which is great.
When I went to the theater, when there were 5 total people at my 6:30 p.m. showing of Mandalorian, there were signs on the front of the theater that said, "Do not come here without ID or a parent to see Backrooms." Like, fuck off. If you are a child, go away. Because I think so many underage children are trying to go and see it. But they're like, just leave.
Well, they're kind of, go to the
buy a ticket to Mandalorian and Grogu and sneak into the theater showing.
That's how we used to do it. I believe I bought a ticket for, I want to say Jurassic Park 3 and snuck into Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. It's possible it was neither of those movies, but I remember doing it and I got caught.
Can we pitch that, by the way, to Disney's marketing? It's like, look, guys, accept the wash on Mandalorian and Grogu. Sell it as the way to get to see
Start a social media wave of sneak into Backrooms.
Buy a ticket for Mandalorian and Grogu. Like, it's the puppet Grogu, like with his tickets.
Oh my God. Yeah.
The theater was so empty that there was, like, on the night that Mandalorian opened, Thursday night, that nobody was there to even check tickets. So I literally could have just walked in the theater, walked into the movie, and nobody would have known.
It's because they know nobody would do that. They know no one's sneaking into the Mandalorian and Grogu.
I didn't have to sneak in. I just walked in.
Yoshi actually comes in and asks to make sure you're in the right cinema before the movie.
Are you here to see Backrooms?
That's how Mando got into the mansion. He just kind of you heard Ludwig Göransson's little theme, and Nick just appeared in the theater.
Somebody would have been like, "Are you here for the right movie?" I wish I wasn't.
I don't think I am. Pie, thank you so much for the $5 dono. Darren, do you have a comic that you regularly buy every new issue of? Also, who's your favorite supervillain?
I normally buy like collected editions, and I tend to buy comics when they're on sale, so I don't generally keep up to date. I will occasionally, if I'm reading something, try and like get in time for the last issue. So, for example, Dennis Camp's Ultimates, for example, is one that I read recently. The Martian Manhunter with himself and is it Javier Rodriguez is one that I read in the past week leading up to the release of the final issue. That's generally how I'll do it. I don't generally follow monthly because it's a very expensive habit to do that way. And in terms of favorite supervillains, I mean, look, I'm lazy. I like the John's era Sinestro. I think that's an incredible character. I actually like a lot of Jeff Johns supervillains. I think they're very well written. But to throw out like a one I actually like, the Mr. Nobody from the Doom Patrol is just an incredible design that I love so much. If Eric can throw up a picture and that's it, I'm done.
Was he on the TV
40 seconds
show?
and I'm out. He was voiced by Alan Tudyk on the TV show. I don't know how they would have translated it into. Oh yeah, no. Eric, look for the comic book version of him. But it's basically he's a two-dimensional series of data.
Oh, he looks cool.
There we go.
Look at this guy.
He
He looks like a
glow.
Backrooms thing. He looks like someone chasing me through the Backrooms.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the supervillain I think of when I think of like my favorite supervillains. But yeah, sorry.
Also, I typed in Mr. Nobody to look at him, and my first response was Mr. Nobody
Bob
against
Odenkirk.
Putin. No, Mr. Nobody Against Putin, which was apparently a documentary from a few years ago. So there you go. Sinos the Hedgehog, thank you so much, a $2 dono. Going to watch the Backrooms tomorrow. Heard it's good. It is good. Spoilers.
It
It's a
is.
good movie.
It is. It's quite good.
there you
A
go.
very
Must
good
have been
movie.
listening to the podcast.
This was a million. These super chats are from a million years ago.
10 years ago.
This is like I like
They're sent
podca-
from the back rooms.
in the rewind. The super chats are like little time capsules. I guess all of our podcasts are like that because you don't get to them right away. So by the end, it's
Apart from Windbreaker, where we jump to them immediately.
yeah, it's like a weird time shift. Yeah.
We try to work out and figure out what were
Suppies.
we talking about at
Yeah.
the time. Yeah.
Every episode is one of those like a riffing on a goof we made. I'm like, I can't remember what this was.
What the fuck is this
possibly
mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Foosro Duck, thanks for re-upping in the Green Gang. Ryan Gosling in space. Can lightning strike twice? I mean, that might be the best thing for Starfighter is that. Well, I guess lightning strike thrice.
Thrice.
People think
Yeah,
it's a
with First Man.
think it's a sequel to Project Hail Mary.
I mean, people at least general movie-going audiences have a positive connotation now with Ryan Gosling in space, which they didn't have with First Man. So,
Yeah. But I mean, the question then is like, will there
Space, Star
yeah,
Wars.
exactly.
will there be the right amount of American flags in Starfighter? That's the real question.
Oh, the right
we
wing's
need
gonna
to
get
ask, right?
very upset about that. Remember when that was like the biggest thing to get mad at? That and tan suits.
More
Jesus
innocent
fucking
times. Yes.
Truly. The Toasty Tart, thank you so much for the $5 dono. At least we still have movies like Obsession coming out and proving new good stuff still exists. Did you see the trailer for before my Backrooms trailer? There was a trailer for the new Adam Wingard movie, Onslaught, I want to say it's called, which just
No.
seems like it's a sequel to The Guest. Do you remember the movie The Guest with
Yeah, I love the guest.
Dan Stevens? This
Yes.
new movie absolutely seems like it's in the same universe as The Guest, where it's like, oh no, this government super assassin has gotten out and is going after this trailer park. But one of the people in the trailer park, Adriana Arjona, used to be like a military badass, so she's got to fight this like spooky looking guy.
Oh,
That sounds fun. No, I didn't see that trailer. No.
Seems fun.
love the guest so much.
Guess is good stuff. Double the Fingers, thank you so much for the €5 dono. The best thing about The Mandalorian will always be the story about Werner Herzog calling the makers cowards for even thinking about making Grogu CGI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like
I mean,
to see
Yeah, that's the best
baby.
one.
I would like to see the baby. That's it. My two favorite, that and was it Pedro Pascal or no, it was Diego Luna who had the Jabba fetish.
Yes,
kept being like,
yes,
I wanna
I want to
touch
touch
Jabba.
him. Yeah.
Yeah, you should have put Andor in this movie. There's so many Jabbas in this movie. And none of them were anything tangible he could have touched.
I mean,
Also,
like,
it's a
Diego
green
Luna
ball
was
on a
in the
stick.
suit. Yeah.
Do you think, yeah, I was about to say, do you think he was like, I will play Mando in the costume? It's fine. Pedro, you could just play him when you take the helmet off. I will play him in costume so that I could touch one of the Jabbas.
As long as
And then
there's
they
a
get
sequence
in
of
and
him
there's-
caressing at CGI.
But they put the suit on like I can't wait to touch the huts, and then they realize that they're not real, they're
Yeah.
not puppets, and they're just
Bunch of fucking tennis
depressed in the
balls that
suit.
Teamsters are holding on sticks.
Yeah. Aw.
Jabba's great. Love me a hut. Blu-ray, thank you so much for a $5 dono. Did you guys talk about Running Man? Did you like it? Has Edgar Wright not made anything good since Hot Fuzz? JK, I didn't like Baby Driver though. We did almost a whole episode about it a couple months ago when it came out.
Yeah.
I think we
I
were
watched it.
Running Man
Yeah.
coming back from Europe earlier this year.
yeah, I think we were I would say we were lukewarm on it.
Fun moments.
Yeah.
Once you get to like the first of the 5 endings, it's like the first of
Yeah.
5 endings
Oh.
in minutes is quite an impressive feat.
I feel like there are moments in that movie where you can see that Edgar is breaking out of his restraints and goes, "Ah!" and then they pull him back. And then it's just like, oh, that was cool. I can see Edgar Wright's like authorial R10 in that scene. And then it's back to just generic bullshit and then not ending. So I'm just like, oh, I was just waiting for more of those restraint breaks, but they're very rare.
I love it when
YouTube
all of the
jazz
actors
me
are
mad.
clearly on set for the same sequence of a movie, particularly at the end of a movie. I love it when you get all the actors in the same physical space.
Never.
YouTube Chad's gonna be mad at me for liking bad things, but I still like his King Arthur movie.
He didn't make King Arthur,
But
right?
Edgar Wright
That's
did a
Guy
King Arthur
Ritchie.
movie?
That's Guy
Oh,
Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie. I
That's
always
a whole
get
different
them.
man.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
if Edgar Wright did a King Arthur movie, I'd be front row there.
I can actually
Joe
fuck with that.
Cornish did the kid who would be king, the Patrick Stewart one, right? So
And
like, yeah,
Anton-
there's
and I believe it was Anton Fuqua who did
Did King
Arthur
Arthur.
starring Clive Owen, which has one of the best casts in a very long time.
Is that
Secret
the
Break
movie
Cast.
where-
Direct that from a
Guy Ritchie
van.
and Edgar Wright movies mixed up.
Is the boy
yeah,
who
they're
would be
not very
king the one
similar.
where the
No.
the Merlin does the finger style to do the magic? Am I thinking of a
Yeah,
different
that's
music?
Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh,
I
I know
believe.
why.
No, that's
Mads
that's
Mikkelsen.
King Arthur. Matt Nicholson is the one with King Arthur and the Anton Fuqua one, right?
Yeah,
There's
Is that
like a
what
one
we're
where
talking-
like there's a child who's going to
Yeah.
be King Arthur, and they're in the modern day, and Merlin is also
Yeah.
a child, and
That's
he
the
does
kid
like
who would be.
weird
That's
magic. or
the
something.
Yeah,
Joe
that-
Cornish one,
yeah.
right?
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
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 I remember why I always get them mixed up because both Edgar Wright and Guy Ritchie do like their musical numbers in their movies.
They do like shooting things
I always-
to music.
Yeah, I always think Edgar Wright did, or I always think Guy Ritchie did Baby Driver. If it was Edgar Wright.
He did not. He did not. He drove zero babies. Although I guess after Kevin Spacey thing, maybe everyone would be better not.
Kevin Spacey and Ansel Elgort. Like it's like if only
Yeah.
there were only one. Like it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Ooh,
There
that
was a
Harvey
while where
Weinstein
it was
cameo did not age well. Also,
Jared
what I will say,
Depardieu is doing the French dub. Like,
what I will say about The Running Man, second best Stephen King movie this year, based on a Stephen King story about movement at a certain speed. I think The Long Walk was better, but Edgar Wright, Running Man definitely number 2. Robert Dooley, thank you so much. Darren, what are your thoughts on Absolute Martian Manhunter, and are you caught up on the Ultimates?
yes, on both of those. Martian Manhunter is one of the most incredible comics ever written. Which
What's
is why
the
something
twist
like-
with him? You've told me that you've talked about the twist with all the other characters. What's his absolute twist?
This is basically just it's an attempt to do an art book. It's a John Jones is an FBI agent who works in stochastic terrorism, which is the idea of investigating the idea of like how people commit random acts of terrorism, like where ideas come from, how people are motivated, whether it's by online radicalism or by speech or things. And the central thesis of the movie is like, why do we do the things that we do? And it is like a book about how fundamentally human beings are all alien to each other. So he's almost killed in a coffee shop explosion, and a weird green Martian monster that may also be an expression of his own psychic trauma latches onto him, and together they fight crime and also possibly stop the existential apocalypse. It is just
stand. He's a JoJo.
yeah, it's great. It's honestly incredible. It's one of the most beautiful books I've ever seen. Javier Rodriguez does all of the art in it. It has like some of the most impressive visual storytelling. It's written by Dan Camp, who's the guy who also wrote The Ultimates, which is the other book that's mentioned. And like The Ultimates, it's a book that is really pushing the limits of what you can do in a mainstream superhero comic, where there are like repeated points where the book like tries to get you, the reader, actively involved. So it'll like give you a join the dots puzzle, for example, or it will say on the next page something traumatic happens, so you can tear out this page and just pretend that you don't see it
Oh,
if
that's
you want
so
to.
cool.
Which is like very self-aware, very fourth wall bending. There are pages that are laid out like jigsaw puzzles, pages that are laid out like, you know, buildings with all the plot happening within them. It's a stunningly beautiful book. If you are curious about trying a modern comic book, if you're really interested in visual storytelling, Absolute Martian Manhunter, I would wholeheartedly recommend. I had a really, really good time with it. And The Ultimates as well is very good. I love The Ultimates too.
That sounds incredible.
Yeah, it's stunning. It's like
Yeah,
even
I'm
just check
sold.
out the first issue. Like just have a read of it and
Really quick, is it called Join the Dots in Ireland and not Connect the Dots?
connect the dots, I suppose. Yeah.
No, I'm not. I like learning that things have different names at different places. I was just curious.
we don't use your multi-syllabic words over here. But
Listen,
yeah.
I would love to cut all words down to one syllable. Let's just enter like a grunt-based society. I think that sounds nice.
But like, there's a point where they have the Manhunter trapped and on the page, and the villain turns to you and directs you, the reader, to connect the dots, trapping him in the cage. And it's like, I see what you're doing, book, making me complicit in this. It's great. It's really good.
That's
really
kind
good.
of incredible. I love that.
Yeah.
So sick.
Boo-Ray, thank you so much for the $5 dono. Nick, who would get their throat cut for accepting blue milk that wasn't offered to them, though? Think about that. You didn't think about that. Are you guys hip on this blue milk? It's at my grocery store. I was thinking about trying it.
Big fan of milk. I've never seen the blue milk.
I'm a big milk boy, too. Yeah, we got blue milk. Mandalorian and Grogu sponsored blue milk at the grocery store.
No shit. There's actual blue milk in stores?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like,
I'm gonna go get some.
Yeah, and there's like cookies as well. Like, I do feel like over here in Ireland we're insulated from that stuff, where I keep hearing people talk about like the cookies and the wafers and the blue wafers and stuff, and I'm like, I have seen none of that has permeated like my little.
Ever since I
over
moved to the States, Darren, it's fucking everywhere, mate. You cannot escape it.
That's because our
All of
food
your
laws
favorite
are,
stuff gets replaced with weird bullshit. It's crazy.
Yeah, that is not
dyed
made
with
from
things
any
that are
natural
definitely
ingredients.
healthy. Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right. What if we told you they have blue milk at Costco? I don't think they do.
They sell blue milk in bulk? Oh my
They
god.
should we should get a Costco horror movie off the ground. I feel like Costco liminal space.
Like a
horror.
liminal space Costco?
Yeah.
Dude, can I star in it?
Just like
Oh my
a
god.
movie called The People of Walmart.
Oh no. The Night of the Living Walmarts. King and Commoner, thank you so much. On an unrelated note, I've asked Jack, but figured I'd throw it to a wider net. Have any of you seen the 83 animated rock musical Rock and Rule? I've
No.
never heard of Rock and Rule.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Is it good? Should we watch it?
Should we watch it right now?
Yeah, should we? Oh, I like the animation.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got nothing
43
else
minutes.
going on. Yeah, I got nothing else going on. I don't have a hard out in
It's
like
Canadian.
9 minutes.
It's big. It's a big Canadian show. R.I.P. Grogu. Thank you so much. Do you know who else likes the Muppets? Maybe a bit too much. Jeff Keighley. Jay and Jeff. Listen, I'm just saying. But what if Jeff Keighley was your dad? Jeff Keighley was the one who got you that signed. that signed C-3PO. And then any expected games to be revealed this week. We can't go into games on this podcast, Grogu. If
No,
you want to
it's
see
later.
game talk, come back in 2 hours.
It's starting in
Yeah. But the answer is Persona 6. Kid Barchetta, thank you so much for the $2 donor. Stepped away for a bit. Did we solve the problem? I think we solved Hollywood.
That's the one I was waiting to get to. You.
I do think we
What problem?
cracked it. Yeah, we
the
cracked
problem.
it.
No. That's how
No
I feel
problem.
like at the half an hour through every windbreaker, we like to say we solved the problem. Whatever the problem of the episode was, we solved it.
Would you guys like a horror movie set in the Star Wars universe?
Please.
I would love
yes.
that. I would love that.
Part of me does
Like
wonder
a
if like,
low
that's-
budget horror movie?
Yeah. Well, that's what they're trying with Clayface, and that's what Clayface is with the DC properties. Clayface
I hope
is
it does
can-
well.
Yes. Clayface is like, can we do like a low budget horror movie in an IP house? And if Clayface does well, I would not be surprised to see a Star
What's
Wars.
that scene in Rogue One where they're trying to, what do they call it? The
The
weird boar gullet tentacle
Lies,
gullet,
deception.
The
Bull
gullet.
gullet will decide.
I'm more
dude, that stuff,
machine
the way
than
they
man.
shot that stuff was genuinely kind of like, oh god. Like, I would like to see. I've been replaying, it's inspired by The Mandalorian. I've been replaying Jedi Survivor, and there are some weird guys in that, some weird creatures. And I'm like,
Yes.
give me more weird guys that
more
want to
freaky
kill me.
deakies. Yeah,
You
more
know?
freaky deakies.
More trapped on a ship, very alien. Oh, give me that.
Oh, that'd be good.
The monster on Hoth in the Empire Strikes Back.
Wampa.
Always,
Yeah.
the Wampa.
Yeah, that was a nightmare.
That scene always freaked me out as a kid.
There's brown
Spooky
wampus in
Wampa.
Survivor. Woof.
True, spooky Wampa.
That's the
Blu-ray,
one
thank you
time
so
in
much.
Star Wars we see blood too.
Hey, in A New Hope, when they cut that guy's arm off, there's blood, even though there shouldn't be blood
yeah.
because it's a lightsaber, but we don't have to worry about that. That's for science. That's for nerds. That's for Neil deGrasse Tyson to figure out.
Polarization? Who cares?
Why do lightsabers have tops? That's the question that really bothers me.
Yes. Why
Cauterizes
doesn't it
the
just go
wound or
forever?
maybe
You see a
replaces the
Star
internal
Destroyer
organs.
and you just go, boop, and just fucking infinitely fire
Like
light
using a
into
laser
it and kill
pointer
it.
to try to take down an airplane from the
How much more interesting would it be if that's what happened? They
Darren, also,
infinite lightsabers.
Darren, if you
I
have
know.
to run it at any point.
No, it's
you
because
can.
I have to go in a moment, but I do believe there's fan lore that like Jedi use the Force to keep it down. Like that's like that whenever a
there's-
lightsaber.
No.
believe-
I choose to have my lightsaber at 2 inches. It's I want it like that.
At no point, it's not. That's totally normal. A lot of people have 2-inch lightsabers. It's totally fine. I was in the
Happens
pool.
to every guy.
Yeah.
Isn't the lore behind lightsabers that it's supposed to be a more humane way of killing things, but then it either cauterizes wounds or completely vaporizes your internal organs?
I mean, I think they said that about like lethal injection. I'm like, I don't think you can have a humane way of killing, honestly. Boo-Ray, thank
pretty
you so
cool, huh?
but it is sick. Boo-Ray says, my buddy put Last Crusade on recently. We were watching his kid play Tekken 1, and every time I would look over, Indy was in a different vehicle. Last Crusade is a great vehicle movie. Like, that is a video game ass movie. Like, every set piece is like, this is a good level. This is a good ass
It's like
level.
James Bond. They're in a different car every other fucking scene.
Yeah.
But like, the thing about like Last Crusade is it's also the most story heavy indie movie. It's the most Spielberg one. Like there's like a Lucas Spielberg spectrum where like Raiders is the perfect mix. With all due respect to Lucas, Temple of Doom is much more Lucas. And then Last
hate
Crusade.
my wife, guys.
But I mean, there is also I was in an unsafe work environment with a bunch of kids Spielberg element to it going on. But like here, like Last Crusade is much more like a, man, wouldn't it be great if I understood my dad? And like you could just Lucas there just tinkering with his toys while Spielberg's like, watch me make this movie. It's it's a really interesting exploration of their relationship. It's fascinating.
Freak You'd See, thank you so much for the $2 dono. Same as anime movies just being 3 eps now. Black. I do like that is like it depends on what an anime movie is, because there's anime movies where it's like a one-off side story that gets turned into a movie, like One Piece movies or Dragon Ball Z movies. There is stuff like the Demon Slayer, like these Infinite Castle movies are like the final
seasons of TV shows.
Yeah, the 3 movies are going to be the end of the show. And then there is stuff where like Jujutsu Kaisen was like, we will just stitch 2 episodes together and then give you a little taste of what comes afterwards. And I don't like those ones, but yeah, kind of what it feels like. Toasty Tart, thank you so much for the dono. Darren, have you seen In Fear? It's a horror movie about a couple getting lost in the woods in Ireland. Absolutely loved it. In Fear.
I have not actually. I missed that one. I'm checking it out now. But yeah, it might be on the list. I had not even heard of it when it was mentioned.
Put it on the Irish list.
I mean, it was shot in Cornwall and Devon. So calling it an Irish
as a man
movie
from Devon, we're
It's quite
basically
Irish,
brothers because they're the same place, right?
Listen,
Cornwall,
Darren,
and Ireland,
you
very
love the
similar.
X-Files, and let me sit you down. I'm going to tell you where the X-Files was filmed.
You mean that like Iowa doesn't have gigantic Canadian mountains behind it? Yeah.
I love Halloween. The mountains in central Illinois in Halloween. A little bit strange. Yeah.
We have big haystacks that we climb on. Thank you.
Exactly. Yeah.
True.
Steady Goblinwood, thank you so much. Just checking in to say my son is being born today. Thank you all for the entertainment. Can't wait to listen. Cheers. Mazel tov. Steady Goblinwood.
Oh, congrats!
Love to hear it. Congrats to you guys.
Hold on, wife. Don't pump out that baby yet. I gotta send him a super chat.
We gotta go see Backrooms first. And then Boo-Ray, thank you so much for $5 dono. The period of time Leia had to spend with Han on the way to Bespin is probably a horror movie, psychologically anyways.
Leia avoiding Han on the way to Bespin.
I mean, like it's
being a little creepy.
Cave heavy movie, like not to get all Freudian and like the Freudian subtext of it all, which we will when we talk about like the He-Man movie, which is full of Freudian subtext with Fisto, extended neck guy, and I can't remember who the third guy is.
There's a lot of snake imagery, right?
Rip my sword,
yeah, Snake Mountain, etc. But yeah, a lot of like Empire Strikes Back takes place in caves, and a lot of damp caves as well. And yeah, so subtext. Lucas working through some stuff.
Working through stuff. I think I did. I got us into a nice place. Darren, do you want to run down stuff you've been watching, or do you want to run?
He-Man is very, very good. Spider-Man Noir is very, very good. Some other stuff I can't mention, which we will talk about next week.
I love it. Fuck it. Let's just we're gonna do call outs. Jay, what are you working on? What your folks know about from Jay?
I'm working on Designed Elves, going to be on 007. Got some interesting opinions on that, but I'll save that for the video. And also, I'm going to be continuing Majora's Mask first time playthrough this evening over on Twitch. And also watch Clarkson's Farm. That show's really good. New season coming out tomorrow, so watch that.
Never even heard of it.
You're going loopy for Clarkson. Yeah, they send Jeremy Clarkson on a farm. Yeah,
never
I
heard
love
of it.
Clarkson's.
Oh, also new episode of Adventurers Night. The three of us literally forgot to talk about Adventurers Night on Monday.
Oh shit! Yeah, Adventurous Night. You know the show we're on. Fuck.
The literally the animated actual the only thing that could be covered.
Our
on this.
highest produced thing we do here at Second Wind.
Yes,
But also Clarkson's Farm. It's the
but
two
also
of them are
Clarkson's
like-
Farm, yeah.
This multi-million fuckers.
Nick, you just had a marathon video go up yesterday that you and Eric worked on.
Yep, marathon video. Marty and I will be back in 2 hours to watch the PlayStation Showcase with KC, and I'll have Unpacked on Friday on a subject I don't know what I'm writing about yet, but I'll figure it out.
There you go. Darren, you had last week's backdrop, and we're going to have a new backdrop up at some point in our
At
life.
some point in our lifetime, we promise we will. Yeah, last week we had a Mandalorian and Grogu episode, which I'm very proud of. I look at like John Favreau as auteur theory, which is like one of the things I have on my bucket list. I feel like, we talked about me liking Favreau as a filmmaker. I did want to give him as fair a shake as possible, and I kind of hope that I did. And this week we will be talking about like the weekend that has been at the box office and the shift that maybe or might not be happening in culture with a bunch of historical context. So really hope you guys enjoy that. Check that out.
I mean, I've watched Elf almost every Christmas season with my mom for the past like 20 years. It might be one of my most watched movies of this century. So
Favreau seems like a nice guy. Like the thing is, like as much as I hate Mandalorian and Grogu, and then I watch the special features, and I'm like, the dude loves puppets and
He
robots.
exudes passion and just like genuine energy.
Yeah.
Like there were some comments which were like, this is a very mean takedown video, and it's like, no, not at all. Like I'm trying to understand Favreau, and I hope I'm quite sympathetic to him.
Yeah,
like a large part of it
was unfair at all.
Yeah. All right, I got a dash.
Oh yeah, no, we're all Darren. We're all fucking dashing. You don't get to dash first because we're done.
I'm always dashing.
Thank you so much, everyone who watched live on YouTube, who sent in super chats, listen on your podcast service of choice. Nick and I will be back in 2 hours. Check us out watching PlayStation, and we'll be back in another 2 weeks for the rewind. So thank you guys so much, everyone. Have a great rest of your Tuesdays, and we'll see you all soon. Oh my God, we did it, an hour and 50 minutes. Bye.
Bye.